Have you ever felt like it's too late to achieve your dreams? Maybe you're not young anymore, or you've had some setbacks in your life. But don't give up. There are many historical figures who prove that it's never too late to succeed. In this video, I'm going to talk about 18 historical figures who achieved great things later in life. These people come from all walks of life, and they all had different experiences. But they all have one thing in common: they never gave up on their dreams. Samuel L. Jackson didn't become an acclaimed actor until he was in his 40s. He had been acting in theater and film for years, but he didn't achieve stardom until he starred in the films Pulp Fiction and Jurassic Park. Lucille Ball didn't become a well-known actress until her 40s. She had a tough childhood and was told she was too shy to be an actress, but she never gave up on her dream. She starred in the hit sitcom I Love Lucy, which made her a household name. Vera Wang didn't begin designing wedding dresses until she was 40. She had a successful career as a figure skater and fashion editor before starting her own bridal design company. Her gowns are known for their elegant and sophisticated style. Rickman didn't achieve international fame until his 40s. He had appeared in various stage and film roles, but his portrayal of the villain Hans Gruber in Die Hard made him a star. He went on to have a successful career in Hollywood, appearing in films such as Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and the Harry Potter series. Claude Monet didn't create his best paintings until after his wife's death in his 40s. He was a painter who was inspired by nature, and his wife's death inspired him to paint some of his most famous works, including his Water Lily series. Toni Morrison wasn't a household name until she was 46. She worked as an editor for many years before publishing her first novel, which won the Pulitzer Prize. She went on to become the first African-American woman to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. Julia Child didn't become a famous chef until she was 49. She worked as a copywriter and a researcher before she became interested in cooking. She published her first cookbook, Mastering the Art of French Cooking, at the age of 49, and it became a bestseller. Henry Ford didn't invent the assembly line until he was 50. He was an engineer who was interested in making cars more affordable, and he developed the assembly line to mass-produce cars. This made cars more accessible to people, and Ford became a successful businessman. Charles Darwin didn't come up with the theory of evolution until he was 50. He spent years researching and collecting data on the Galapagos Islands, and his findings revolutionized our understanding of the natural world. Betty White didn't receive acclaim for her acting until she was 51. She had been working in show business for decades, but she didn't achieve stardom until she starred in the sitcom The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Hedda Hopper didn't become a well-known gossip columnist until she was 51. She used her platform to share her opinions on Hollywood stars and their personal lives, and she became one of the most feared women in the industry. Ray Kroc didn't develop McDonald's into a thriving enterprise until he was 53. He started out as a salesman for paper cups, but he saw the potential in the McDonald Brothers restaurant and turned it into a global fast food chain. Harland Sanders, Colonel Sanders, didn't found KFC until he was 62. He had a successful career as a restaurant owner, but he lost everything in the Great Depression. He started selling his fried chicken recipe to restaurants, and eventually opened his own KFC franchise. Laura Ingalls Wilder didn't become a famous author until she was 65. She spent her childhood traveling throughout the American frontier with her family in a covered wagon, and her successful book series, Little House on the Prairie, was inspired by her youth. Winston Churchill had no success until his 60s. He was a politician who was born into a wealthy family, but he failed at many things in his early life. He didn't become Prime Minister of Britain until he was 65, but he led the country to victory in World War II. Alma Thomas didn't become a famous painter until she was 69. She was a high school art teacher who retired and began painting abstract art in her late 60s. Her work became popular, and she was the first Black woman to have a retrospective at the Whitney Museum of Art. Nelson Mandela didn't become South Africa's president until he was 75. He spent 27 years in prison for his activism against apartheid, but he was released and became the country's first Black president. He is remembered as a symbol of peace and reconciliation. Grandma Moses didn't start painting until she was 76. She was a farmer's wife who took up painting in her late 70s after she developed arthritis and could no longer do farm work. Her colorful paintings of rural life became popular, and she became known as Grandma Moses. So if you're feeling discouraged, don't give up. There's still time to achieve your dreams.